welcome to The Newsworthy. All the day's news in less than 10 minutes. Fast, fair, fun, and on the go. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today, the U.S. Embassy controversy, the change of heart for ZTE, and a data breach at Chili's. Plus, Starbucks bathrooms, NBA playoffs, and the weekend box office. All that and much more in less than 10 minutes. I'm Erica Mandy. Today is Monday, May 14th. You ready? Let's do this. Today, there are celebrations in Israel about the U.S. Embassy's big move. The embassy has its formal opening in Jerusalem this morning, and a big gala was held last night. Some American VIPs were there, like Ivanka Trump and her husband, Jared Kushner. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu thanked President Trump and called the move the right thing to do. He says Jerusalem has already been Israel's capital for 70 years. But not everyone agrees. Let's talk about the backstory. President Trump made the call late last year to move the U.S. Embassy from the city of Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. It's a very controversial call. Palestinians claim East Jerusalem is their capital. And to them, the U.S. is now taking Israel's side. Palestinian protests are expected today, and critics, that include some other countries, say things are already tense in the Middle East and that this embassy move will make things worse. A recent U.S. ban put a big Chinese company in trouble. But now President Trump seems to be changing his mind and wanting to help save the company. And it affects U.S. companies as well. The Wall Street Journal reports President Trump said he's now working with the Chinese president to keep ZTE in business. ZTE is an electronics and smartphone maker with about $17 billion in revenue every year and tens of thousands of employees in China. And it does sell products in America. But just last week, it stopped most of its business activity altogether. Why? Well, the U.S. banned companies from selling ZTE any parts or supplies, and ZTE relies on some of that stuff. The ban was for alleged trade violations, and there have also been some security concerns. But now Trump tweeted that too many jobs would be lost in China, and he wants to help. Critics say the president should be focusing on American companies first. So we'll see what happens next, because remember, China and the U.S. are still negotiating threats of tariffs on each other's products. To be continued. President Trump has a plan to cut the cost of prescription drugs, and that plan is basically to increase competition between pharmaceutical companies. He says the industry is broken, with drug makers, insurance companies, and more all part of the problem. The Hill says the list of items on the president's plan include things like getting rid of tactics that some companies use to keep less expensive generic brands from going to market. Supporters say the plan will keep special interests from having such an impact on prices. Critics say the list to consider doesn't go far enough on the policy or actual action. More evacuations are happening on the Big Island of Hawaii. A big new vent in the ground, about 1,000 feet long, sent gases and lava exploding into the air and into neighborhoods yesterday. CNN says it's the 17th vent or big crack in the ground that's happened since the Kilauea volcano first started sending lava into neighborhoods about a week and a half ago. Keep in mind, there are still warnings of a major eruption at the volcano's summit. That could send rocks and ash miles into the air, and it could happen at any time now. Already, the AP reports nearly 40 homes and buildings have been destroyed. President Trump declared a major disaster in Hawaii, so that means more federal resources can go there to help out. But most other parts of Hawaii are fine. Travelers can still go there. All right, other things people may be talking about today. Another data breach. This one at Chili's restaurants. The company says hackers may have gotten a hold of some credit and debit card numbers that were used at some restaurants between March and April of this year. USA Today reports Chili's parent company is working to offer credit monitoring services for the customers that were impacted. But at this point, it's still not clear how many people had their info stolen and exactly which restaurants it happened at. But as always, keep an eye to your credit card statements and stay tuned. Starbucks has changed its bathroom policy altogether. Business Insider reports the company will now open up bathrooms to everyone, even if you didn't pay for a coffee or anything else at the store. Before, it was kind of a loose policy to only allow customers that paid for something, but it was up to the employees to make that call. Well, that didn't turn out so well recently. Reminder, an employee at a Philadelphia Starbucks called the cops on two black men who were using the bathroom while waiting for a friend. They were handcuffed for it. That led to a lot of public backlash and even a legal settlement. Starbucks will be closing all of its stores for one day later this month for racial bias training. There's a new record for the priciest private collection sold at an auction. What were the 1,500 items? The estate of David and Peggy Rockefeller. That included paintings by some of the most well-known artists of the past 200 years. All of this was sold for nearly $833 million. Yes, that's a record. Although some experts guessed it would reach $1 billion. CBS News reports the proceeds will be going to various charities. All right, the NBA playoffs are down to just 4 teams. In the West, it's the Golden State Warriors and the Houston Rockets. They play Game 1 tonight. In the East, the Cleveland Cavaliers and Boston Celtics. So far, the Celtics are ahead. They won Game 1 last night. Each round of the NBA playoffs is best of 7. The 2 winners of this round will be facing off in the finals. No surprise at the box office over the weekend. For the 3rd weekend in a row now, the superhero movie Avengers: Infinity War was the winner in theaters. And just on Friday, it opened in China. That was big. Now the Wall Street Journal says the movie is on track to bring in $2 billion worldwide. And that's it for today. Thank you so much again for listening. If you get value out of The Newsworthy, I would love to learn a little more about you. So please head on over to thenewsworthy.com/survey and take that survey. It'll literally take you about 30 seconds to fill out, and it's pretty basic stuff. So I appreciate you doing that. Again, it's thenewsworthy.com/survey. If you want to read more about any of the news stories we talked about in today's episode, just go to the homepage at thenewsworthy.com. From there, click episodes, and then you can find today's date to see all the links. The Newsworthy is ready for you to listen every weekday by 4 in the morning Eastern Time. So I will be back with more news tomorrow. Have a great day.